Hello and thank you for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Lami Ali. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website nta.ng/live and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. Technology is not static but dynamic, and updating one's skills with contemporary realities is key in the digital era. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, is therefore upgrading the skills of management staff of the ministry to meet up global trends in the sector. Chimdima Ndubusi reports.
This is the fourth industrial revolution era, where ICT is driving globalization. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, gliding through clusters of management staff of different parastatals under his ministry, like an erudite teacher, drives home the lessons of effective leadership in the ever-growing technological sector. Soft skills, he says, are essential.
Like critical thinking, analytical thinking, collaborative thinking, project management, teamwork, for example, creativity, they are all important. We spoke briefly on social skills, how you interact with people. You must treat them as human beings. This is very important. And the way you humble yourself before your subordinates in your interaction with them. And as subordinates, we must respect our principles also.
The management staff say they are going home with these on their fingertips, that effective leadership entails updating one's digital skills, achieving set targets, meeting deadlines, and reducing uncertainties while taking risks. In Abuja, Chimdima Ndubusi, NTA News.
Now, the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, in partnership with UN Women and African Development Bank, has launched a steering committee that will ensure greater women participation in public procurement processes. Ngozi Technical reports that the essence is also to empower women entrepreneurs with business acumen.
Women form greater percentage of entrepreneurs in the private and informal sectors. The majority of them do not have the required knowledge in public procurement procedures. It therefore becomes imperative to seek inclusive procurement that will enhance women's business skills for prosperity.
For us not to leave women behind, we must part of the process of being able to be women contractors like men contractors.
The Bureau is already working with various groups, NGOs, women in business, and other women-related bodies to deepen the public procurement reform.
The initiative launched is to be experimented in Lagos and Kano, of which the outcome will be a guide towards expanding the project to other parts of the country.
The launch of this project resonates with our advocacy in advancing economic empowerment for women entrepreneurs through enhanced access to public and private procurement opportunities.
We need both men and women to be economically viable so that we can achieve the sustainable development goals.
With the inauguration of the steering committee, the board is set rolling to bring the female folks at par with their male counterparts on business concerns.
Women empowerment through affirmative procurement reforms is a significant move to prioritize women entrepreneurs to compete maximally in attaining the full potential to build a prosperous nation. In Abuja, Ngozi Technical, NTA News.
Into the aviation sector now, the Aviation Safety Roundtable Initiative is urging the federal government to facilitate the repatriation of the accumulated foreign airline funds trapped in the nation's banks due to the non-allocation of forex to these airlines. A statement by the Secretary General of the Association, Olumide Hunayo, stated that an article in the bilateral air services agreement provides transfer of local earnings by foreign airlines to be converted and transferred in accordance with the prevailing foreign exchange. The association noted that international trades are bounded by agreements which are sacrosanct and have to be respected to continue to attract foreign investments. The National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, has revoked the licenses of 52 broadcasting stations, owing the Commission about 2.6 billion naira. Adebola Brookston reports that those yet to update their accounts were advised to do so immediately or face similar sanction.
Every broadcasting media outfit to operate in Nigeria, it is mandatory for such organization to be licensed by the regulator, National Broadcasting Commission, NBC.
Cyberbed communication.
The declaration by the Director General of the Commission, Balarabe Shehu Ilela, is coming 3 months after the agency published the list of licensees indebted to the Commission, which contravenes the NBC Act Cap 11.
In view of this development, the continued operation of the data station is illegal and constitutes a threat to national security. Therefore, after due consideration, NBC hereby announces the revocation of the license of the underlisted debtors and are hereby given 24 hours to shut down their stations or operations. Our offices nationwide are hereby directed also to collaborate with security agencies across the country to ensure immediate compliance.
The Commission is ready for those who are ready to pay their debts before the expiration period of 24 hours.
I may not have 10 million naira. Come and pay 2 million. If you can pay 2 million in a year, we'll take it. We have told them all this, but many of them have refused to come.
All other stations streaming online are advised to register with the Commission to avoid disconnection, as having a DTT or FM license does not warrant a broadcaster to stream online. Adebola Brookston, NTA News.
And the United Nations International Children's Fund, UNICEF, in partnership with the National Orientation Agency, has advocated the inclusion of social and behavioral change program in Nigerian universities' curriculum. This is the position of UNICEF Country Director Peter Hawkins at a 2-day knowledge exchange meeting with universities in Nigeria. Hadiza Godwin-Ibune reports.
Report social and behavioral change program encompasses any set of strategies and interventions that influence drivers, changes and support local action towards a better society. UNICEF representative Peter Hawkins says UNICEF recognizes that changing knowledge is not enough to change behaviors. Hence, the partnership with community and institutions to understand their needs and motivations, identify their strengths and lower barriers to positive change.
We have gathered here with us today a group of professors and lecturers from universities across the country to look at how in Nigeria we can expand the evidence base around social behavior, how we can expand the skills around social behavior.
Some of the things that will be learned from this program is one of the things we will be taking to our respective campuses when the universities open, under our flagship program called Campus Focus.
Giants in the academic sector unanimously agree that the social and behavioral change program for universities is apt, as the program has the potential to play transformative roles in the all-round development of people and communities in Nigeria.
The curriculum is a very dynamic structure, let me put it that way, that from time to time you keep introducing new things, old ones are taken away, things are not relevant are taken away, we make room for new ones. Importantly too, we want to make it a multidisciplinary kind of study so that people from economics, psychology, sociology will all benefit from what we are doing right.
UNICEF further explains that SBC employs a systematic process beginning with formative research and behavioral analysis, followed by communication, planning, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation. Hadiza Godwin Ebuni, NTA News.
As Nigeria intensifies efforts to end malaria by 2030, health experts on Good Morning Nigeria say it is high time the nation ventured into production of anti-malaria drugs and vaccines towards accelerating the fight against the disease. Lydia Sampson reports.
Emphatic that drawing from success stories of fighting malaria in other climes, all Nigeria need is a holistic approach that will also link malaria eradication to other endemic diseases.
We must be prepared to change our attitude and to believe that we can do what seems to be impossible. For example, the question that you've asked, whether we will be able to get rid of malaria, get rid of mosquitoes, get rid of this problem holistically by the year 2030. It looks like it is impossible because it's only 8 years away from now. But it is not. It is possible. If we have the will and we have the commitment and we have the resources, we will be able to do that.
We have the diagnosis and treatment, that's the case management aspect of it. And that case management is also very important because you have to be sure that you are treating malaria, and that means test before treatment. So our people have to have that attitudinal change.
The mobilization of rural women to embrace the malaria vaccines and other preventive drugs is also important.
Areas where you actually mobilize the women, especially the traditional, the local women, to be in charge of this eradication elimination program, you have more than 80% effectiveness. So you are absolutely, health promotion, using the right people, the traditional rulers, the traditional healers, we shouldn't ignore them, but first and foremost the female, the women population in the rural areas that are with the children, who stays more with the children under 5.
The guys applauded President Muhammadu Buhari for inaugurating the End Malaria Council, which is private sector driven. They are unanimous that with sustained political will across the country, ending malaria by 2030 is not impossible. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And still on health matters, the quest to strengthen the country's human resource for health is gathering momentum. This is sequel to the induction of additional 274 nurses by the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. Uche Ugochukwu reports that the induction is the 8th of the ceremony for foreign-trained nurses who have scaled through the professional examination of the council.
Found worthy in learning and in character.
Having undergone training abroad and scaled through the 6-month adaptation program for general nursing in Nigerian universities, these 274 nurses are poised to contribute to the vision of healthcare for all.
So I will use what I learned from where I studied to put it here, inshallah.
Putting my patient first before anything.
Currently, 140,000 registered nurses are practicing in Nigeria out of the 330,000 on the register. The council says it is not unaware of the challenges, but would, however, continue to not only ensure professionalism, but maintain standard in nursing practice in the country.
The council is committed to its missions of promoting and maintaining excellence in nursing and midwifery education across Nigeria in line with the global best practices.
Both councils are continuously in the forefront of providing knowledge, professionalism, and that is one of the requirements for the transformation of the health sector.
The coming on board of these new hands raises hope for improvement in some of the nation's poor health indices, especially maternal and child health.
Time now to join Kehinde in Lagos for more stories on Nationwide. Hello, Kehinde.
Hello, Lami. Glad to have you join us in Lagos. Developing a well-structured platform that seeks to effectively support and manage victims of crisis and disaster, as well as addressing the needs of caregivers, remains fundamental in addressing humanitarian issues and awakening humanity. Amaka Owo reports that these were the views of a cross-section of Nigerians as the world marks Humanitarian Day.
The sole meaning of life, they say, is to serve humanity, and this corresponds with the fundamental objective that focuses on bringing together partners across the humanitarian system to advocate the well-being and dignity of people affected by crisis for safety and security of caregivers.
Saving life, even if you are not known, is worthwhile, is better, more fruitful, more beneficial to the society.
You must be good to your neighbor. It's very, very important. So to be good to humanity is divine, it's religious, and we have to be doing that.
Many are of the view that there seems to be nonchalant attitude as observed in the face of emergencies and disasters.
Let those who can give a helping hand, let them give a helping hand, rather than you bringing out your phone and be, taking pictures and video of what is happening while the person's life is ebbing away.
Sometimes you see an act and you say, how can somebody do this? But it's really a mental issue. So that is something we really need to be cognizant of and to really attack.
No doubt Nigeria is part of the United Nations data which shows that in 2021, about 235 million people needed humanitarian assistance. It is the view of many that collaboration is needed in solving problems associated with crisis.
People should now sensitize their words, the children, against misconception in religion and other tribalistic ideologies or any emotionalism that will create confusion and make youth into this type of hazards.
Data from the United Nations also reveal that over 160 million people are in need across 56 countries of the world. In Lagos, Amaka Owo, NTA News.
The desirous goals which led to the closure of the semi-land border for 16 months have started manifesting, as the Customs Area Command in the Axis says. Since the reopening of the corridor close to 2 years ago, smuggling activities have reduced drastically. The controller Bello Mohammed Jibu stated this while showcasing the seizure of more than 119,000 liters of petrol. Mark Ololale reports.
The Semi-Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service has constantly expressed worries that the proximity of the corridor to the borderline is stimulating the smuggling of petrol to neighboring countries. Another seizure, majorly petroleum products, spread across 3,998 jerrycans of 30 liters each. The command says it is equivalent of 4 tankers with duty-paid value close to 30 million naira, which were intercepted along the waterways in Badagry. Although a product of long-term planning, effective monitoring and coordinated intelligence gathering and sharing, but the customs credited its long, cordial and rewarding relationship with the host community for the feats.
And I believe this will discourage them, will frustrate them from embarking in such an illegal activity. Within a period of three weeks, apart from this particular seizure, we are able to make an arrest and seizure of 2,121 jerrycans of PMS.
Like most seizures on the waterways, the suspects on sighting the customs took the escape route, but the agency had made a pledge to suppress smuggling to the barest minimum, capitalizing on its partnership with the host community, using initiatives that would discourage youth restiveness. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
And that's a contribution from Lagos. Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and
Thank you for staying tuned. And we begin with the story that the Oba of Benin, Ewa II, has charged surgeons to reduce incidences of distorted medical procedures and improve healthcare system in Nigeria. The monarch gave the advice when members of Nigerian Association of Plastic, Reconstructive and Aesthetic Surgeons and Surgeons Bones Injuries Society paid him a courtesy call in his palace in Benin City. Paul Omukagu has details.
Oba Ewa II, while welcoming his august visitors, called on the leadership of the global organization to initiate and implement reforms that will advance science and improve on their medical practice. The traditional ruler also commended the organizations for living up to expectation over the years and pledged his support in carrying out its duties.
I think we should also all recognize the importance of your work. Is still work in progress to ensure that they have peace and tranquility.
The national president of the organizations, Dr. Folake Abikoyi, highlighted the roles of surgeons, noting that the bodies have trained almost 200 medical personnel in enhancing manpower development. Edo, being noted for its rich cultural heritage, accounted for the reasons behind the choice of the state to host the conference. In Benin, Paul Omukagu, NTA News.
And still talking health, maternal and neonatal mortality in Nigeria can be reduced if measures are put in place to monitor the implementation of family planning policies. Wife of Delta State Governor Dame Edith Okowa emphasized this while flagging off the distribution of maternal and child micronutrients and supplements to nursing mothers at the Primary Healthcare Center, Cable Point, Asaba. Ngozi Imokwede reports.
Statistics shows that Nigerians' infant mortality rate in 2022 stood at 56.220 deaths per 1,000 live births, a 2.57 decline in 2021. The flag off of the distribution of maternal and child supplements by the wife of the Delta State Governor, Dame Edith Okowa, will further reduce the rate of maternal and neonatal mortality in Delta State and the nation at large.
You need your food. You need your vegetables, you need your fruits, balanced diet, especially when you're pregnant and even after you have delivered, so that you can lactate enough to give breastfeed to your child.
For the Commissioner of Health, Dr. Modi Onoye, and the Chairman, Delta State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, the initiative will prevent nutritional deficiency in pregnant women and children.
We recognize that she is also the nutrition ambassador for this state. And so she wants to make sure that everybody eats well and they get the supplements that they need to stay healthy and thrive. And that way, we will continue to have a stronger Delta.
The micro supplements will be distributed in batches across the 25 local government areas in Delta State. In Asaba, Ngozi Mokwede, NTA News.
Lami, that's it from here. It's back to you. Many thanks, Ugo Chukwuka. We begin with politics. Despite efforts by the PDP Reconciliation and Strategy Committee, the unresolved post-primary governorship election tussle that produced two candidates ahead of the 2023 election in Ogun State lingers. Timothy Yusuf reports on latest developments within the PDP family in the Ogun State chapter.
The PDP Reconciliation and Strategy Committee had few months ago concluded the resolution of the decade-old crisis in the Ogun State chapter of the PDP between the groups led by late Senator Buruji Kashamu and Nadia Debutu, with each of them instituting different court cases, obtaining injunctions and dissolving executives. There is, however, now a new twist with the factional governorship candidate of the PDP in the state for the 2023 election, Segun Showumi, not relenting to fight for the party's ticket. Addressing the media in Abuja on the ruling of the Court of Appeal on the matter, Showumi said, with the first victory at the Court of Appeal this Monday, he was confident of emerging the authentic candidate of the PDP in Ogun State.
What's the point
If every time you have to do a congress or you have to do a primary, we fall back to the same default position of some people sitting down in the corners of their comfort zone, taking money or whatever gratis they've taken, and then concocting that only one person is right. That is the fight.
The former spokesperson to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar in the 2019 PDP presidential election emphasized that for the health of democracy, political parties should have passed the stage where imposition of candidates would no longer be the order of the day. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Lots of strategies are in play within the Accord Party to ensure it prevails in the forthcoming 2023 general elections. As the National Executive Committee meeting held in Abuja, the conviction there was all about changing the Nigeria's political culture to serve the people.
Are here to tell ourselves what is the level of their performance compared to what we have by the youth leaders we had in the past. So, and he also picked somebody that is an administrator. You know, being a youth, you have to have somebody that has, you know, a big capacity, somebody that has experience to put you through. So he sat down and carefully looked at whom you think he can work with, that can give him, you know, some administrative, you know, assistance.
The engagement lasted for a few hours but was necessary to ensure success in the 2023 polls, the chairman of the party, Muhammad Lawal Niladu, says. And the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC headquarters in Kwara State has declared as illegal erection of political billboards and pasting of posters by politicians before the 28th of September 2022, which is the commencement days for campaigns. The resident electoral commissioner in the state, Atahiru Madami, made this known in an interview with Olajide Bello.
Some areas in Ilorin metropolis are already wearing political looks with posters and billboards of political parties. This, the Independent National Electoral Commission says, is an electoral offense before the commencement of political campaigns.
I've noticed that some people are branding their vehicle, that is campaign, that is Wayo campaign, and there is a penalty for that. So I've discussed with the Commissioner of Police, and I told the Commissioner of Police to ensure that he calls the political parties concerned and warn them, for at least for now, because they are contravening the law.
For now, according to INEC, consultations can be done, but no open campaigns. On the issue of collection of permanent voter cards, the resident electoral commissioner says the turnout is quite impressive.
We have printed out the names of all the uncollected PVC. You go there, you'll say they'll ask you which word, they'll show you the word. So they have compiled the names word by word, number your name. So once you identify them, it's easy for collection.
The forthcoming 2023 elections, according to INEC, will be free, fair and credible, as the elections in Ekiti and Osun were a litmus test for what to expect. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
The Nigerian Navy has cleared the air concerning viral reports of attempted oil theft by an oil tanker, MT Heroic Idun, leading to its subsequent arrest in Equatorial Guinea. Defense correspondent Naja'atu Tijani reports.
It's midnight on 7th August 2022. A 300,000-ton oil tanker pulls into Akpo Field in ultra-deep waters about 200 kilometers away from Port Harcourt. This vessel, revealed to be MT Heroic Idun from the Marshall Islands, is a 300,000-ton oil tanker capable of carrying 3 million barrels of crude oil. Its mission? Suspicious, says the Nigerian Navy. Convening this press briefing, the Nigerian Navy further clarifies the mystery around MT Heroic's mission and the circumstances surrounding its interception by the Navy's counterpart in Equatorial Guinea amidst speculation of crude oil theft.
So it didn't take anything. This is the main purpose of this press conference. To reiterate that Nigeria has not lost a single drop of oil as a result of this misadventure by this vessel.
The Nigerian Navy insists the vessel spent just 20 minutes and could not have lifted any crude oil from Akpo Field, which has a capacity of 150 barrels per day and up to 175,000 barrels at peak production. Rather, it evaded arrest by Nigerian Navy ship Gongola, which discovered the suspicious activities. Meanwhile, the arrest follows the cooperation between 25 Gulf of Guinea nations under the 2013 Yaoundé Code. Investigations into the matter will continue, with MT Heroic Idun expected to tell its side of the story. Mnjtf, NTA News.
And from Benue State comes this report that the state government has suspended all forms of mining activities in Kwande local government area of the state over security threats. Governor Samuel Otom handed down the order during an emergency security meeting with traditional rulers and stakeholders from Kwande, as the government house Makurdi. Charles Abba reports.
Handed down by Governor Samuel Otom for the suspension of mining activities in Kwande local government and its environs stemmed out of the briefings from the Kwande, His Royal Highness Chief Ambrose Yoche, the Kwande Chief Timothy Ahile, the Senator representing Benue Northeast, Gabriel Suswam, and other community leaders regarding security threats from operations of mining in the area. Governor Otom said the state land matters are under his purview. Hence, anyone carrying out mining business in the state should follow due process.
Anybody coming to the state with a federal government license must pass through the state government, and I will transmit that to the local government, who will in turn reach out to the community. In view of we have decided as a government to suspend all mining activities in Kwande local government with effect from today.
He therefore directed the setting up of a committee to address all issues regarding mining in the relevant areas to forestall breaches of ordinances and laws. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Maiduguri is our next stop, and we have Abubakar standing by. It's good to see you, Abubakar.
That's true, Lani. It's nice to see you. Let's begin with labor matters from here. Borno State government has approved 30,000 naira minimum wage for the 4,491 qualified primary school teachers across the state. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum announced this when he met with labor leaders at the government house, Maiduguri. Mohammed Guni has the rest of the story.
Minimum wage for qualified teachers will be implemented effective August.
The 4,491 teachers slated to benefit from the 30,000 minimum wage were cleared by the Numeracy, Literacy and Competency Assessment Committee inaugurated by the state government. Governor Babagana Umara also said first 1,000 trainable teachers among the unqualified ones willing to further their education will be given in service to go for further training in some institutions within the state, and when they successfully complete their courses, they will be enlisted to enjoy the minimum wage, adding that the process will be a continuous one. The governor also of comprehensive list of state civil servants and existing vacancies preparatory to promotion examination and possible lifting of embargo on promotion early next year, even as he enjoined all critical stakeholders in the system to work together to sanitize the state civil service, including pension issues. He assured to look into all other issues raised by the labor leaders and unveil a plan to engage service of consultants to manage the payroll of local government councils. State Chairman Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Yusuf Inoa, appreciated the governor for his commitment to welfare of workers in the state, noting the payment of 2020 leave grant, and further appeal to the state government to also pay promotion arrears and arrears for re-verified local government staff and LA teachers, as well as minimum wage for local government and LA staff, among others. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Away from labor matters now to look at issues that have to do with security. Force Commander, Multinational Joint Task Force, Major General Abdul Khalifa Ibrahim, has acknowledged successes recorded in the just concluded Joint Operation Lake Sanity, as over 100,000 internally displaced persons from communities in the 4 countries of the Lake Chad region have returned to their ancestral homes. The Force Commander stated this during a medal parade ceremony held at Headquarters 7th Division, Nigerian Army in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. Namuna Garba will now bring us more details of the story.
The Mnjtf medal parade was in continuation of the one held recently at the Mnjtf headquarters in Jamena, Chad, where 6,000 personnel of the force were considered for the medals in recognition of the important roles they played during Operation Lake Sanity. To this end, about 850 personnel of Sector 1 Operation Hadinkai actively took part in Operation Lake Sanity, where a lot was achieved, hence the presentation of medals to both senior officers and soldiers of the battalion. Force Commander, Multinational Joint Task Force Major General Abdul Khalifa Ibrahim acknowledged the unwavering support of Theatre Command Operation Hadinkai and the air component throughout the operational period, saying the force is equally planning another robust operation for the restoration of ultimate peace to the shores of the Lake Chad.
We share a joint operational area, that is the Multinational Joint Task Force, and also Operation Hadinkai. There are less attacks on the civilian populace, there are less attacks even on our military locations, and this is as a result of the increase in operations that we've been doing. Operation Desert Sanity is ongoing. Operation Lake Sanity has just been completed.
With things getting better in the Lake Chad Basin area, the Force Commander disclosed that already socio-economic activities have picked up, promising to do more considering the equipment and fighting force of the Mnjtf. In Maiduguri, Namuna Garba, NTA News.
If you're just joining us, you're on to Nationwide under Nigerian Television Authority. Let us at this point will break, but comfort.
Good afternoon and welcome to Enugu Network Center. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Onyama, has reaffirmed that the All Progressives Congress in Enugu State is determined to deliver dividends of democracy if elected in 2023 general elections. The minister made this known while donating educational materials to Girls College Eke in Udi, local government area of Enugu State. Chimaroke Ugu has the details.
People through their songs expressed satisfaction in the efforts of their son and the Minister for Foreign Affairs in bringing to the grassroots facilities that will benefit his people. The minister, while inspecting the 12 classroom blocks under construction and donating about 600 plastic seats and lock-up tables to St. Paul's College, Eke, maintained that education is the ladder to greatness and emphasized the need to always invest in it.
We're out of government next year. Yeah, we'll collapse here. We're out of government, and I have a foundation. Yeah, and I want to give back. I want to give back to the community. So through this foundation, I want to give back, and I prioritize different things. Education is obviously absolutely key.
The All Progressives Congress chieftain reiterated that the party is poised to fulfill their promises of delivering dividends of democracy. The people promised unflinching support to the party and to vote APC at all levels at the forthcoming 2023 general elections. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
And rural communities in Abia State are beginning to experience a lift in healthcare delivery as key players step up interventions in the health sector. This is coming in form of massive free medical services to tackle preventable death, especially among the elderly. Former Ndokoli reports.
Many rural communities in Nigeria are exposed to inadequate health facilities and widespread poverty to access quality health care. Communities in Abia State are not an exception. Worried by the rising cases of avoidable deaths, therefore, key players in the health sector are addressing the challenge through free medical outreach. Free treatment of physiotherapy and optical cases are among the health challenges being addressed.
This intervention, like I've said again, is humane. It's a demonstration of humanity, because the best thing you can give to any human being is good health, of course. So because that's why they say health is wealth.
Reverend Iroha from Ebem Ohofia, like every other beneficiary of the program, said it will bring the much needed succor to the people, especially the pensioners.
Times are hard, and a lot of people cannot access medical care because there's no money in their pockets.
It has really helped me because my child has been complaining of scabies. Gone to different places for it, like some chemists. We've gone there. He's still complaining about it, but I believe that since we have come here, he will be okay.
The people are optimistic, but with more interventions like this, preventable sicknesses will be reduced among the elderly. In Umuahia, Ifeoma Okolie, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Enugu. Is back to Lami in Abuja for more reports on Nationwide.
Thank you, Comfort. As the world marks this year's Humanitarian Day, proactive measures to tackle humanitarian crisis that may arise from flooding is being advised. Ikechukwu Ndukwe reports that the Christian Aid is warning of dire consequences if measures to avert flooding is not checked during this rainy season.
Christian Aid proves the number of people in humanitarian crisis in Adamawa, Borno, and the Yobe states at 8.4 million. Among them are 2.2 million displaced persons, mostly women and girls.
We work, reach over 3,000 households, benefiting from the ongoing humanitarian response that cuts across food distribution, nutrition, cash distribution, education in emergency, protection, agriculture, and crop production. We also have about 1,639 households participating in 20 different income-generating activities.
While promising critical interventions, the Christian Aid reports that 4.1 million people are at risk of hunger from now till September, while over 1 million children under 5 years are vulnerable to acute malnutrition in Northeast alone, stressing that such requires urgent humanitarian interventions. Already, President Muhammadu Buhari has launched plans for humanitarian interventions in Borno State to commemorate this year's Humanitarian Day. Ikechukwu Ndukwe, NTA News.
Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State says his administration is committed to infrastructural development with a call on all states to make development a priority. This was while flagging of the construction of the 12th flyover bridge.
Activities have made many Nigerian youths who before now depend mainly on government for employment to think out of the box. Many Nigerians now see the need to get themselves trained in one skill or the other, leading to an explosion in the number of persons, young and old, who are getting engaged in skills acquisition on a daily basis. For those who cannot afford to pay for such trainings, centers like these, which offers free intensive skills and vocational training, seem to be mind-blowing. Top among skills development offered include fashion and design, leatherworks, cakes and confectionaries, makeover and ICT. Upon graduation from this skills acquisition program, best of graduates are launched into their independence with startups in their respective vocations.
You can create your future from this. Just being determined, showing passion, learning the necessary skills, acquiring every necessary things you need to.
I see it's very pertinent for my practicing and all of that. So, like in terms of newspaper designing, I think if I could apply this, really stand out in that profession.
What we are actually giving them here is the basic thing you need for sewing or as a designer.
Going by the desire of these young minds to be self-reliant, Nigeria may soon be a hub for assorted products, while unemployment rate may reduce provided government create the enabling environment for small and medium-scale enterprises to thrive. In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
We now go back to our earlier promoted story that actually was from Uyo on skills acquisition. Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State says his administration is committed to infrastructural development with a call on all states to make development a priority. This was while flagging off the construction of the 12th flyover bridge.
Ask me as a governor, explain to me what you are doing with our money. You are right to ask us, what are we doing with your money? All of us have enjoyed our economic activities are moving on because of the peace that has come to this state.
May all those who are going to be working be given the opportunity, the capacity, the peaceful atmosphere to complete this project in the shortest possible time.
He urged residents of the area to cooperate with the contractor for quick delivery of the project. Time now to join our sports desk for sports updates.
Ahead of the 21st edition of the National Sports Festival to be hosted by Delta State in November this year, organizers say the construction of 2 indoor sports hall, hostel facility, pitches, and upgrading of other facilities at different venues will meet the October deadline for the delivery